I'm just a guy trucking through school. I play basketball, I do a little skiing, and I like to tinker around with stereos, carpentry, that sort of thing. I'm a senior at Godebo High now, and I've been thinking a lot about what I'm going to do when school's over. Maybe college, maybe the service, or maybe I'd just like to travel. I've been thinking a lot about social problems, too. All this stuff about human liberation movements that's in the news. First the blacks, then the women, now even gay liberation. A lot of people don't seem to understand these things, like my parents. They think that being gay, well, it's an either-or thing. Either you're straight and you'll get married and have kids just like real-life Ken and Barbie dolls, or you're gay and you're a weirdo who can't even do a push-up. Well, that's not true. How do I know? I'm gay. My father told me that in his day the hoods used to beat up on gay kids. But my straight friends aren't into that. We all do our own stuff and nobody bothers anybody else. Like I say, some of us do dope, some of us beer, and some of the kids just spend their time hanging around the drive-in. Now, maybe a few people in your school are still into hassling gay kids. These are the same people who are immature enough to make cracks whenever sex is even mentioned. And if you're uptight, then what I'm going to be saying is going to give you plenty to giggle and squirm about. But let's face it, if you think it's funny for two people to be in love and to express it, then you ought to be checking out your problem. When I tell people I'm gay, a lot of them think I'm just scared to have sex with a woman. That's not it. Being gay is the way you feel about people, like liking your buddy, only more. Here's what being gay means to me. I like to be with fun guys who've got their heads together. I'm comfortable and I'm proud of being gay. And developing a meaningful relationship with another guy is really important to me. Sure, I've been to bed with guys, but I don't sleep with just anyone. I think of sex as a way of being in love. I choose who I sleep with like I choose who I date. I guess it's the same for gay girls too. Anyway, most kids don't know that much about sex, and that's especially true about the guys who brag the loudest about it. It's real obvious to all of us, I hope, that babies don't grow in cabbage fields. We've all heard the little tale about when a man and a woman love each other very much, and they're married. They get into bed together and hug and kiss, and his penis enters her vagina, etc., and a baby is made. Well, that's just one part of the whole story. Sex education classes never mention that people enjoy physical intimacy just because it feels good. And even husbands and wives do it, most of the time, in fact, without wanting to have babies. Sex isn't limited to the old penis-vagina routine in real life. People touch each other and kiss and do all kinds of things just to make each other feel good. Humans have 5 senses and they use all of them when they're close together. Even marriage counselors now advise people to hang loose and experiment. There's not one area of the whole human body that doesn't respond to stimulation, so as long as both of you are willing, there's no part of your bodies which need be off limits. Sure, guys and girls having sex can make babies, but how many guys or girls have sex just to make babies, especially people our age? It's still important to remember that gayness isn't just who you take to bed. It's a feeling. Everybody feels close to friends, girls and guys. Lots of guys my age say they like to go together with other guys just camping, fishing. They say that's different from having gay feelings. Well, it's not. All gayness really is liking to be with other guys and admitting it, or for a girl liking to be close to other girls. Everybody's got some gayness, just like everybody's got some friends. Think of it this way. Gayness is like beauty. All of us have some of it. Only we gays have more of it. And if you're a straight guy, you like girls, but you've also got great buddies who are guys. How much gayness you have doesn't affect how much straightness you have. Just because you call love what you feel for your girlfriend doesn't mean that you're going to care less about your buddies. More the opposite. If you're caring more for your friends, it doesn't affect the way that you feel for your girlfriend. The program you're about to watch was first shown in the Twin Cities on WCCO September 30th, 1973. It was updated in July of '74.
Homosexuals may be this country's most oppressed minority. It's illegal to be a homosexual in 43 of the United States, including Minnesota. Out of fear, they've gone into hiding. Fear of the law, fear of losing their jobs and friends. Only a few are out in the open, fighting for gay liberation.
We are assembled to participate in and to witness the union of these two persons. It is not to be entered into inadvisedly, but reverently and discreetly. This is a serious occasion, but not a somber one.
On September 3rd, 1971, in a small and simple ceremony, Mike McConnell and Jack Baker were married. This is the first time film of that ceremony has been shown anywhere.
Bless, O Lord, the giving and receiving of these rings. Let those who wear them abide in peace. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Michael and Jack have pledged their faith. They have publicly declared their love. I declare that they are to live together and are now joined in marriage.
Mike McConnell and Jack Baker had worked for months to squeeze through the cracks in Minnesota's marriage laws. First, Mike McConnell legally adopted Jack Baker. Jack became Pat Lynn McConnell. Pat Lynn McConnell and James Michael McConnell applied for a marriage license in Mankato. Got it before Mankato officials discovered they'd been tricked. Now Mike and Jack live happily ever after, unchallenged, except by the Internal Revenue Service.
Smile at me. Beautiful, beautiful. Let me try that.
Try that again. It's cheese.
Yeah, all right.
Most gay men and women may not want to get married, but Jack Baker and Mike McConnell did. And what they're saying is they should have that right.
I am your brother and sister, your mother and father. I am your employer and your co-worker, your novelist, your factory worker, your poet, your social worker, telephone operator, librarian, representative in Congress, and clerk. I am a person. I am an American. I am gay.
Cindy Hansen is a tall, quiet, mid-20s woman who grew up in a proper, middle-class suburban home. She spends part of her time now selling books from a tiny shop on West Lake Street in Minneapolis. The books have names like The Second Sex, The Female Eunuch, and the shop is called the Amazon Bookstore. Cindy Hansen is a lesbian.
By conservative estimate, there are over 20 million gay people in the United States. Walk down any American street. Walk through any American high school or university. Visit any American business. 1 out of every 10 people you see will be gay.
Karen Brown came here from a home in Missouri. She was married once, but it ended in divorce. Karen decided there wasn't anywhere in the Twin Cities for gay women to go for help. This year started the Lesbian Resource Center and works there for a small salary as the director. She is young, soft-spoken, still unsure of herself. Karen and Cindy are in love.
I do not use the word homosexual. It is a pseudo-scientific term which emphasizes sex and refuses to acknowledge my emotions and my lifestyle. In spite of popular myths which characterize so-called homosexuals as sick and unhappy, there are millions like me who are gay, who are happy, who share a spiritual love, and who live a lifestyle which is as rewarding and satisfying as yours. We like being gay. Our lives are good.
Jim Frost and Jack Yoakum met about a year ago. Jack was working in Chicago then as a community organizer in a Methodist church. He moved here a few months ago to live with Jim, hoping to organize something called the Council on the Church and the Homophile. Jim Frost is the coordinator and one of the counselors for gay community services, trying to help other gay people figure themselves out. They are both quietly angry about the misinformation, the discrimination against homosexuals.
There has been a nationwide recognition of the fact that we as gay people are no longer willing to sit back and allow our lives to be destroyed by the petty thoughts of others. The cause of gay rights is now being fought in nearly every facet of society throughout the country, and many battles are beginning to be won.
One of the toughest battles has been with Freudian psychiatrists who insist homosexuals are sick, should be caught and cured. That point of view springs from some poor evidence, and in the last few years more and more psychiatrists are simply admitting they've been wrong. Nobody really knows how many gay people are gay. The estimates usually range from 4 to 10% of the population. Indications are that most people aren't 100% homosexual or heterosexual, but fall someplace in between the two. There aren't even any good theories about why people are homosexuals. Nobody knows why. We can say it's probably not inherited. The popular stereotype is that gay men are effeminate and gay women are masculine, that one partner is always dominant, a kind of male-female role arrangement. Gays are supposed to be interested only in sex. The stereotype, like most stereotypes, is wrong. Researchers for a new Kinsey study coming out next year say gays are as different as snowflakes. The next gay person you meet may be swishy, lavender, limp-wristed, or he may be rugged, tough-talking, and virile. He may be a hairdresser, he may be a professional football player. He may even be a she.
Karen Brown and Cindy Henson live in a small South Minneapolis apartment in a low-budget style, a patched clothes and food stamps kind of existence. We spent more than a week with them, talking and watching the way they live. Karen and Cindy moved in together about 5 months ago, and most of the time they act very much like college roommates would. They do the housework equally, they share the same friends, they almost never have contact with men.
If you like butter, then this reflects yellow on your chin.
Karen and Cindy, like most gay people, will tell you being gay is much more than sex. They agree with the book The Lesbian Woman when it says, for the woman involved, it is a way of life, encompassing the structure of her whole personality, one facet of which is her sexuality. For her, it is the expression of a way of feeling, of loving, of responding to other people.
I think we should have brought some 612.
Karen and Cindy say men and heterosexuals can't understand them. That's why partway through our filming, they demanded to approve our final script. We refused, and the filming stopped.
I think we really should come back here next week or this weekend.
Just don't consider that women can be homosexual. And they, instead of being, repelled or anything else, they're just shocked and confused. And, but you're the wrong sex to be a homosexual. You can't, you can't be a girl and be gay.
Gays are not necessarily men, not necessarily effeminate or masculine or playing roles. Unnecessarily, they are nearly always discriminated against, threatened, and called names. Like one morning over breakfast near the University of Minnesota.
Casually sitting there and had my hand on the leg of the guy I was going with at the time. And 5 guys on the table next to us started discussing whether they were going to shoot us or just beat us up. That wonderful experience, right in the heart of the liberal university.
It would be nice, if you could just go where you wanted to go and be yourself when you're there, just to have a good time, without having to worry about being kicked out or being threatened. Yeah, things like that.
I know sometimes people do follow through, but most of the time it's just talk. I can't figure out why people do it. why they are so upset in the first place, why they are so tremendously threatened or angry or jealous, maybe?
Yeah. People just assume that, we're out to get everybody in bed, and so therefore, it doesn't make any difference what you look like or what you're like, as a person. We're just going to come over and rape them or something.
Most people are really, really selective.
Well, that's true with everyone, not just gay people.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
but the myth about gay people is that they want sex all the time, as much as they can get, everywhere, now.
Hours a day, yeah. I wish I had that much energy.
I was thinking it was 7, all the things you could do with 7.
Jim Frost and Jack Yoakum are out of the closet. They've gone public, like Karen and Cindy.
Oh, yeah.
They live much the same way, sharing the work and the decisions and doing it on a low budget. Jim and Jack are no more typical of all gays than Karen and Cindy are.
Thank you.
Jim and Jack don't know for sure when they first noticed they liked boys better than girls. Jack thinks it was when he was 5 years old. They both dated girls. Jim thinks he will again. But they each decided they were more attracted to other men. Jack's mother took the news pretty well.
My father's suggestion was to go to the local family doctor and maybe he could fix me up with some hormone shots or something.
Finally said something like,
I assured him that if I did that, that I might rape the policeman on the corner.